we're going to use a technique called the five whys. Now, just raise your hand. I can see all of you on screen. How many people have heard of the five whys before? I know some of you have been in classes with me in the past where I may have talked about the five whys. This is a really cool technique. And just, I didn't invent it. It was actually a practice used by a gentleman, Akio Toyoda, the actual founder of Toyota Motor Cars. And he decided many years ago that oftentimes we try to fix things without any clarity. He decided he needed a mechanism for getting to the real root cause of things before they spend any time, energy, and money trying to fix things. And so he used this five why technique, which sounds pretty straightforward, but believe it or not, many people don't actually do this. And he asked, I'm just changing my screen here. Sorry for looking up. He asked, let's ask why five times when we think there's ever a circumstance that is causing us stress or getting us off track. So rather than just treat our immediate sense like, oh, I'm really anxious about what these tariffs are going to do, I can't really change the tariffs. I'm going to actually try to get some clarity on that anxiety. Why am I worried about the tariffs? Why does each of the steps, five layers back, actually increase my stress? I'm going to show you an example of this here in just a second. So let's say that your anxiety, which is related to the economy right now, is that we can't afford increased inflation. We can't afford a recession that might be triggered by the tariffs. Okay. Now, it doesn't have to be the tariffs. It could have just been general market conditions. 2 weeks ago, we might have actually said we can't afford a recession due to prolonged inflation. Doesn't matter. These are big issues that cause us anxiety. They're external to us, but we worry about them. Now let's apply why five different times. So we might say, why can't we afford increased inflation or a recession due to the tariffs? The first is our budgets are already tight as it is. Okay, so we'd write that down. Why are our budgets already tight? Our budgets are already tight because revenue has fallen in the past 24 months. Okay. Why has revenue fallen in the past 24 months? Our agents are doing less transactions. It's an observation, it's not a blame. We're doing less deals, we have less revenue. Why are we doing less deals? We're doing less deals because consumers are less active in the marketplace. They are not entering the marketplace as sellers. They're not making as many offers as they once have. They have affordability challenge. Okay, we'd write that down. Why are consumers less active in the marketplace? Because they aren't finding opportunities in current market conditions, and neither are our agents. Everyone is waiting for inflation to clear up, for the tariffs to clear up, for Congress to act. I don't know what, but everyone is waiting. So now, if you think about what we've done in the 5 why methodology, we've moved from something that we cannot affect. We cannot affect whether there is going to be a recession or not, right? Like we can't resolve that to lower our stress, but we can resolve that consumers and agents aren't finding opportunity in the market conditions. They're sitting around waiting for other things to change. And if we were to address that with all the wonderful techniques we have as leaders, we can show them how to analyze data. We can design new strategies for a marketplace that is at risk for recession. We can alter our marketing message and our prospecting message. We can do some things to motivate, like call nights, or create new marketing techniques using artificial intelligence. All of those items actually have opportunities written on them. Then what's so cool here is that we actually have the ability to reduce the stress we are feeling by taking action on the fifth level root cause of the anxiety. Right now, I'm going to pause there for just a moment because this technique is not perfect, but that all you have to do is challenge yourself to basically ask why five times, and you don't have to come up with major analyses. So what was our worry? We can't afford the next 6 months. Why? Because our budget was already tight. Why is our budget tight? Revenue's down. Why is revenue down? Agents are doing less deals. Why are agents doing less deals? Consumers are hesitating. Why are consumers hesitating? Because they don't see the opportunities in the market. They only see the challenges in the market. And like we said in our last session, they're waiting for someone else to change things, misplaced dependency. And until then, everyone is sitting on the sidelines. Oh, well, wait a minute. We know how to get people off the sidelines. We're real estate leaders. We know how to motivate them. We know how to educate them. We know how to change their skills. We know how to alter their strategies. We can get people off the sidelines. As soon as you get there, you're going to have two things that happen. And before I tell you what I think those two things are, do any one of you think any guesses as to the two things that happen as soon as you get to the fifth why? Any thoughts? You could put it in the chat room or raise your hand and talk. I can hear you on the big screen here today as well. Any thoughts as to what happens when you get to the fifth why, as opposed to the initial assumption? So the first is, Diane says, you've put together some actions. Yes, Diane, absolutely. I've immediately, a bunch of actions will come to mind for me. That's great. And Chuck says, my thinking changes. And Chuck, in what way does my thinking change? Any want to clarify that with me a little bit? Yeah, there's something I can do. Absolutely. It's shifting from powerless to empowered. That's the coolest thing. And one of the root causes of stress and anxiety is a sense of disempowerment. Something is happening I have no control over. If they cancel my flight, I have no control over it. I'm going to feel stress. If there's something altering the economy or affecting the economy I have no control over, just dial back 5 years to the pandemic. Just dial back 20 years to the financial crisis, right? These things were beyond our control. That generally creates immediate stress and long-term anxiety. But as you point out, as soon as I use the 5 whys, I suddenly realize there's at least a component to the situation in which I have power. I can affect or influence it to the better. And as Jenny points out, just going to move so I can see the chat room a little better. Here it is. You get something that you can address by encouraging others to see a new perspective on their current situation. That's a bonus. I get something that I can address because there are ways I can take actions. And then I love this as a bonus, right? I can now encourage others to take action. I'm not only going to feel better right away, but I can help my agents and maybe even the consumer public, the buyers and sellers out there, feel a little more empowered as well. Those are the two things I typically think happen as well. A, I get a list of choices and options. That's good intellectually. B, I feel power. That's good emotionally. And if I can actually improve one or both of those things, I have the ability to revisit my approach to stress. And I do so through clarity first, not through technique, but making sure I'm really clear as to what I should be working on. So that's the first aspect here. All right. So the 5 whys, by the way, you can use the 5 whys in about a million other scenarios in your leadership practice, but for dealing with stress, extremely cool, powerful technique.
Hello, I'm Matthew Ferrara. Thanks for visiting the Leadership Club, a special place for owners, managers, and executives to focus on their growth as leaders in their firms and the industry. You can join TLC as a free subscriber, and you'll get the weekly newsletter and explore a whole bunch of open posts, recordings, and downloads in our free section. And if you like what we're doing here and you're ready for some TLC, then consider upgrading your account to access the masterminds, the coaching calls, and our ongoing training. So if you're ready to take your leadership to the next level, then the Leadership Club is the place for you to do it. Thanks for stopping by, and I look forward to welcoming you to the club.